Hello, everybody. I'm Dr. Thunder. This is Two Dads React. Two Dads React. Please like the video, like, share, comment, subscribe, become a channel member where you'll get access to all archived videos. Support independent media, support independent media. Super chats enabled, super thanks for the replay gang, Cash App, Venmo, PayPal, Dr. Thunder, music, all one word. Spell out the word doctor. And if you'd like to buy me a sandwich, then send me a Cash App. Hashtag Sandwich Gang. Sandwich Gang. And we've got a heck of a show for you today. And make sure, for my Rolling Thunder folks, there's an open panel tomorrow morning, 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. It is Friday tomorrow, and so come back for that. Check that out. It's going to be an interesting topic, talking about passport bros and game bros, the intersection between the two. So anyhow, Two Dads React. Okay, so today's show, strange signs crossing over America. Strange signs crossing over America. And there's all kinds of crazy stuff happening. And seems to be some symbolism. And 7 years between the eclipse, the solar eclipse in 2017, and the one scheduled for next year, 2024. And then there's another eclipse that is going to happen in October of this year. So that's interesting. And there's some symbolism associated with that. So we're going to be taking a look at that. And we'll be talking about AI, and they're pretty aggressive now about this scanning your eyes. They're going to give you $56 worth of cryptocurrency if you just line up and get your eyes scanned. And apparently over 1 million people now have taken the deal. And so, hey, I'm not sure what to tell you. I don't know that I'm going to be getting my eyes scanned or taking any sort of, implant or barcode or, that's probably stuff I'm probably not going to do that. Especially if it adds up to 666. That probably definitely won't do that. Like, hey, just take this tattoo. I know it's 666. It's not a big deal, though. You'll be all right. All of that stuff is in the Revelation. It's put on. Anyhow, all kinds of crazy stuff happening. We've got an exciting show today for you on Two Dads React. Strange signs crossing over America. Let's go. Warning: some viewers may find the following video disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised. What's happening?
Hey, how you doing, man?
Hey, what's happening? We got some folks in the chat.
I was trying to figure out.
We got Detro0861 and Homeless in America. What's happening? As people come in, go ahead and drop a comment in the chat and we'll shout you out. So, how goes it?
Pretty good. Looks like the feed's getting a little goofy again, but
yeah, I'm not
it's
sure.
getting all blurry, man. What's going on here?
Yeah.
I'm disappearing.
Yeah, NWO is trying to get us.
You mean the wrestling team?
Yeah,
Hulk Hogan.
The wrestling team.
That's good for ads, bro.
The Wrestling Federation, something.
World Wrestling Federation. Yeah, WWE.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and jump right into it. I have let's see here. Hold up here. That's not where I wanted. There we go. So I'll go ahead and just play this. This gives us some context.
On April 8th, 2024, there will be another total solar eclipse that will mark an X right across the nation of the United States. That alone seems to have some sort of prophetic significance, as well as the fact that that takes place just a few days before the Passover that year. But also, on October 14th, 2023, this year, another annular solar eclipse is going to cross the United States. And what's truly incredible about all of that, when you mark this all on a map, it looks exactly like the first letter of the Hebrew alphabet, the Aleph. Some other pretty incredible things surrounding this is that on October 14th, 2023, when the annular solar eclipse will take place across the United States, that is also the day of the new moon in Jerusalem. And then on April 8th, 2024, when we get the next total solar eclipse that crosses the United States, marking the X, is that there's another new moon in Jerusalem on that date. And also April 8th happens to be the first day of the first month on the Hebrew calendar, and so it's the marking of a brand new biblical year on that date. In Luke 21:25, after Jesus says that there will be signs in the sun, moon, and stars in the last days, he said that there will also be distress of nations. Israel and Jerusalem being an absolute focal point for what takes place in the last days. It's incredible to see that lately there has been distress in Israel.
Tonight, there is unrest across Israel on the eve of a defining moment, even as Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu recovers from an emergency heart procedure. The 73-year-old Prime Minister said he's in excellent health and said he will be in the Knesset Monday when his right-wing ruling coalition is set to pass the first part of his judicial overhaul plan. Opposition to the plan reached a climax this weekend with mass protests across the country. The bitter disagreement reflects the deep split in Israel between those who want a more secular and diverse nation and those with a more religious and nationalistic vision.
Recently, France has been seeing massive unrest take place, just another nation to add to the list that's experiencing distress.
Molotov cocktails directed at the police, burning buses, and looting. For days on end, riots spread across France.
The prophecies of the last days and what the world will look like in the end times, I don't think is just going to happen overnight. It seems that these things are going to have to be built up to that very point, and it seems like that's what we're getting a glimpse of right now.
All right. So what do you think?
Well, things are definitely a change, aren't they? We see things like this all the time. We see people. What was it like in New York City? There was some influencer. I think it was TikTok was trying to give away a new game system or something, and there was like thousands of people there, and they ended up stomping on cars and breaking into various stores, all over a free Xbox. You know what I mean? So we're seeing a lot of that kind of stuff of recent, especially in Europe. There's like, I think it's been for months. There's certain cities there that have been pretty much on fire for months. I covered that in a previous video as well. And of course, we had something here happening here. What was that back in 2021 with the, lives, as you say, matter thing? That
Right.
was months and months of marching in the streets. So we'll put it
Yep.
that way, marching in the streets. And so, but what's really interesting is he was showing that alpha, it's like alpha and omega, right? And it says there's actually an X over America, and it's
Yep.
going to end on April 8th, 2024. What is this? Is this good? Is it bad? That's the question. And there's also a lot of other signs that have happened of recent. I can show some really quick on the screen here. I got this one that's really amazing. I've shown this on my channel. And actually, is it fitting? I didn't do this part, but it kind of fits. What you have here is there's a really strange mirror effect on 1/5/2015, and these are blood moons. And there was 4 blood moons in a row, 4/14, 4/15/14 to 9/28/15, 2015. We had 4 blood moons in a row, which is pretty rare. It's like every 500 years or something. I think it is. It's pretty rare. I know it's extremely rare like that. And what's interesting is you can see like this mirror-like effect off 1/5/2015, which is 1/5/15, which is another really strange thing. But you can see how there's these partial solar eclipses that mirror exactly 1,461 days. And then you can see how you see at the top there, how they actually mirror both directions, the
Yep.
distance apart, almost
Yep.
like a mirror image. And it all divides right between the 4 blood moons. And it says in the good book, the Bible, that these will be signs for in seasons. It'll tell us things that are going to happen too around us, like events and societal changes and things like that. And you can't say there's nothing that happened in around 2015, because everything seemed to change right around that time. Everything kind of went crazy, right? And what's really interesting is there was a sign called the Rev 12 sign, Revelation 12 sign, that happened on September 23rd, 2017, which is about 5 years ago. And this literally mirrors what it says in Revelation 12. If you read Revelation 12, it talks about a woman giving birth and a dragon at her feet waiting for her to give birth. And then it talks about this dragon drawing 1/3 of the stars of heaven down to the earth in great wrath. And it talks about him the devil is trying to essentially get the child, right? What's interesting is this actually only happened twice, this constellation, and it's actually described here. It says the moon is at her feet, which the moon is at her feet. The sun she's clothed in the sun. It says she has a crown of 12 stars. This is 12 stars, Leo. And it says that there's a dragon at her feet. This is the dragon, Serpens. And it says that there's 7, what is it? I can't remember if it's 7 heads and 10 horns. I think that's what it says. There's 7 stars in the head. This constellation is known to be 2 pieces. There's 10 stars in the tail, and there's 7 stars in the head. So 7 stars would be the 7 heads of the dragon, and the 10 stars in the tail would be the 10 horns. And it says that he has a crown, and here's the crown right here. It's called, you won't believe the name. Should I say the name? Corona Borealis. That's his crown.
Yeah.
Is that amazing or what?
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy? And this happened in 2017. So it tells you what's going to happen in the future. And did we see something similar to Corona Borealis after 2017?
We may have.
We might have seen something. I don't know, man.
Put a lot of people out of work.
That was his crown. That's the dragon's crown. So I think, it's an interesting name right there. It's very curious, as you can imagine. And we've seen a lot of crazy stuff since 2017, haven't we? And since 2015 even, with these blood moons, which are extremely rare. This, by the way, this constellation only happened one other time in history. Guess when it happened? Did I already tell you? Birth of the King of Kings, birth of Jesus. It happened at the birth of Jesus. And actually, what's interesting is that some astronomers tried to debunk this. I remember reading this article where they pointed out, I think it was like 2 or 3 other times it got very close, in history where it had a very similar constellation, but it wasn't exact. And underneath it, it had a comment section, and there was a bunch of astronomers in the comment section saying, no, actually, it's not the exact same constellation. It only happened one other time. And these are guys that are not, they don't really have a vested interest. You can tell they're astronomers. They're like saying, well, the moon wasn't in the same place, or this wasn't in the same place. And so it's kind of interesting, but even if they were right, it would only be like 4 times in the last 2,000 years it's happened. But in reality, they're actually wrong. It only happened 2 times, one in 2017 and one at the birth of the King of Kings. So the question is, why did it happen in 2017? Why did it happen in 2017? That's the question. Is obviously it was a big event when it happened the first time. So what's the event this time? Is it the devil coming down in great wrath? Well, it looks like things got crazy ever since that time frame, but could that be it?
Could
you know,
be.
I don't know, man. I'm just kind of, postulating, but obviously it was something big. So this is something I've talked about multiple times on my channel if you're following me, but I thought it was kind of interesting. What do you think, man? Have you seen some of this?
So. Yeah, very
I think
much
I've showed
so.
you. I don't know if I showed this before. Have I showed some? I've showed probably some of this before, right? Or no? Have I showed this before?
The Corona thing you said on here before.
Borealis, yeah.
Okay, let's see here.
But
I've got
okay.
Let's see what we got here. Okay, wait a minute, not that one. Let's try this one. All right, so I played that one. I've got another one that is still sort of. I think this is the billionaire founder of OpenAI. Okay, yeah, I don't want to play that one yet.
Yeah, I want to talk about him too, by the way. I want to talk about him. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, let's talk about that guy.
Okay, so here we go. This is more on, some more context for this. Here we go.
Hey, what's good, y'all? I pray y'all having a blessed day. I just wanted to ask, do you guys see this right here? This is the total eclipse that's going to take place in 2024. Now, what's unique about this is in 2017, this actually took place on one half of America. You guys remember when you had to wear special glasses and look up to see the eclipse and it went across half of America? Well, in 2024, it's going to go the adjacent side and it's going to meet in the center point. Now, what's unique about this is from 2017 to 2024, that's a 7-year period. Now, we are all familiar with the number 7 in Hebrew. That is the number of completion. What's also unique about this whole situation is it makes an X. Now, what's unique about the X in Hebrew is the tau, because the tau is the marking. It's a sign. It is a endpoint. So I'm just trying to bring some awareness to my people. Maybe you guys can go study in advance and kind of get some more information. I love y'all. Be blessed. Shalom.
All right. So multiple folks are noticing this. And this is the one that I started to play. Let me go ahead and play this. This is sort of segueing into the next thing, and then you can take it away. This is the billionaire founder of OpenAI, Sam Altman, and he happens to be a doomsday prepper. That's right, the world's foremost authority on AI happens to believe the apocalypse is coming. Not the best sign, is it? And his specific fears are a little alarming. You see, Sam says that he's preparing for 2 scenarios: super contagious lab-modified virus being released onto the world population and AI that attacks us. And to ensure his survival, Sam says that he's loaded up with guns, gold, potassium iodine, antibiotics, batteries, water, gas masks from the Israeli Defense Force, and a big patch of land in Big Sur that he can fly to.
Dude, this guy is the most ridiculous guy I've ever seen in my life. I'm sorry. I can't believe that guy, man. Like, I might be the one causing the apocalypse, but I'm all prepared for it, and I might make a bunch of money in the process too,
Yeah.
What the hell, man? That's like crazy.
Yeah.
I find that I find that guy to be crazy, but go ahead.
Yeah. So what do you have to share about Sam?
I think this article is really hilarious.
The eye scanning, there's all kinds of silly stuff.
Well, I mean, okay, starting off with the eye scanner little ball. And by the way, we have this really interesting Las Vegas eyeball. Have you seen that? This massive TV. It's an eye. I mean, it's a spherical TV. It's in Las Vegas. That really kind of is interesting. It reminds me of the Eye of Sauron from Lord of the Rings or something. But of course,
Right.
also on top of that, this guy's thing. So what's going on here is we have a guy who he's saying, how can you safely build something that may kill you? Like, why are you building something that may kill us? I mean, does that make any sense? And of course, he has some pretty hilarious quotes. AI will probably most likely lead to the end of the world, but in the meantime, there'll be great companies.
Oh.
Like, what? Are you kidding me, dude? Like, so OpenAI CEO Sam Altman says this. It says he was joking, probably, mostly, or maybe not. Who knows? The dude's a doomsday prepper. He sounds like he believes what he's saying, and he's designing something that could cause this to happen. Like, who is that? Who does that? Like, I might be building something that could destroy us all, but I'm going to make a bunch of money in the process. I mean, seriously, bro. And then on top of that, all the GOVs of the world seem to like his new coin called World, of course, Coin. Really interesting name there.
Yeah.
And like, let's just scan your, eye or whatever. And it's like, what? I mean,
Yeah,
you're not even trying to hide it.
It's spooky to me, man. It's like, those long lines
At
of
least
folks.
Elon Musk tries to hide it. Go ahead.
Well, I mean, just think about it. They're giving you $50 worth of Worldcoin, basically cryptocurrency, and
Judas money?
we
I
just
don't know.
yeah, we just need you to stand still, and we'll scan your eye. And I don't know, we may have like some technology with this scan that could actually be programming you too, but don't worry about that. Just
Yeah,
you
and
do want the
honestly,
money, don't you?
yeah, I mean, people want the free money. And honestly, I'm starting to think the same thing about Elon Musk, by the way. I actually think he is probably one of the more deceptive people. This is my thoughts, and I'm going to be talking about it in my next video on my channel. But he calls his company X, which we saw this X across America. And what's interesting about Elon Musk, let's see, I have it in a different window. Where is that at? Here we go. Let me see if I can find this. So Elon Musk, he has Neuralink, right?
Mm-hmm.
Neuralink, essentially can, and by the way, they just got approved by the FDA. They just got approved to do human, of course, trials with Neuralink, which is essentially ultimately I mean, at first he's trying to say it's supposed to help people that have issues with, being able to walk or whatever, but he said he wants to use it to connect to the internet. So he wants you to literally surf the internet with your brain. And of course, this kind of ties into the whole AI thing. And my next video is going to be pretty mind blowing. I'm going to go through some stuff that's like even Cardi B of all people is got things in her. It's not a recent video. I think it's from a year ago. One of her more recent songs where it basically shows a lot of this stuff. And she probably doesn't even know. Well, maybe she knows. I don't know. But what's interesting is like even the TV show Lucifer has
Yep.
like a scene where he's sitting on top of like essentially like a cell tower. And I can show a picture of that. It's really kind of interesting when you look into all this stuff. This is actually I'm not this is not it here. Let's see here. I don't let's see if I can find this. Wrong thing.
Hey, while he's finding that,
I
everybody,
got like
please like the video. Like, share, comment, subscribe. Likes are free.
I'm gonna
Please like the video.
I'm gonna switch it to a different view. Here we go. I can do it this way. This will help. I just switched it. Okay, so this is Cardi B right here. Okay, so let me show you this. This is her walking on one of these cell phone towers. Okay, she's literally walking on top of one. Here's Lucifer. This is where his throne. Look at it's a cell phone tower, and he's
Mm,
sitting on it on that TV show Lucifer. She's
right,
standing on top of one. And what does it say in the Bible? The devil's the prince of the power of the air, right?
right.
Okay, so she also is dressed like the devil, Lucifer. So
Yeah.
it's saying Lucifer, and look, who else is dressed like Lucifer? Elon Musk. He's got this Baphomet costume on, and if you look at, it says here, uh, is this the verse? It's got the power of the air, I think, in it. Yeah, here we go. Wherein in time past you walked according to the course of the world, according to the prince of the power of the air. Where's the power in the air today? Frequencies, music. Yep. It's in social media. It's in all that stuff. And it's interesting. He changed the name of his company to X. Here you have her in her same exact video showing, and I think it said something in the audio. I'm trying to remember what it said, but it related. And it's like she's connecting to AI or robots, right? She says the word connecting. And just now today, I think it was within the last few days, Elon Musk just got through his Neuralink. So what's really interesting about all those companies, he calls them all X, SpaceX. He either has Link or X in all the names. So Twitter's now X. He has SpaceX. I think there's another company that has X in it also. He uses Link, Neuralink. And then he has the satellite one. What's that called? Something Link. It's not Satellite Link. I can't remember the name. Space Link, Satellite, whatever it's called. Something like that. But what's interesting is, what do they link to? So if you have all these satellites above you, right? And then everybody's plugged into his Neuralink, and all these satellites are above you that are linked. You see what I'm getting at? Like where this could go? Right. So I'm starting to think he's just pretending to be on our side, or whatever you want to call it. This is in her video as well. You can see like these lines, kind of like lines of information or something. He even has the lightning bolt, which, lightning bolt represents the devil. But I mean, you have lots of singers that have used the lightning bolt. I mean, there's like a million, right? And even what's this? How do you say this guy's name? XXX Tentacion. He says frequencies can control, of course, the mind. He talks about this as well. And there's also the frequencies of music. I don't know what you think about that with the different types of frequencies, like the, what is it, 432, 440, and all that kind of stuff, 417.
Yep. Yeah, it's interesting.
Maybe you can talk about that. You talk about that, because I don't know anything about that really. But you can feel it, though. You can feel the difference when you hear it.
Yeah, this is interesting. So, what Tony's talking about is, so in the West, we tune to, in the Americas in particular, we tune to 440, A440, and so with the well-tempered tuning system, all of the notes are accessed. It's a mathematical equation that gets you to all of the 12 distinct pitches per octave. Now you could actually change the A reference to, it could be higher than 440, like in some of the Asian parts of the world, the pitch, the tuning is actually higher, or you can go lower. And they've done all these experiments, which actually show that 432 seems to be more in tune with nature and seems to create a greater incidence of vibrations that are in alignment. And
here, I got a picture right here. Right here. You can show it. You want?
Let's see.
It shows water. 432 and 440. 432 is the one on the left.
Yeah, and so you have more sort of a the vibrations
Harmonic.
are more in sync and are creating sort of geometric shapes even that are more specific. And so people think that this relates to, if it relates to something, 432 is more healthy for you and stuff. And so there's music, and there's like all of this music that's been created now that's specifically in 432, and supposedly it's more healing. Let's get the likes up, folks. 71 people watching, only 34 likes. Please like the video. Please.
There's here's a medical article that says 528 hertz sound actually increases testosterone. This is like insane. So like there's actually a bunch of frequencies that are supposedly beneficial to your health and stuff, and 528 is one of them. 432 is supposed to be one of them. I think 417. There's like a bunch of stuff I was looking into. There's a really weird thing called the solfeggio frequencies, and it has to do with the Vatican changing the frequencies and then getting rid of a bunch of Gregorian chants. Apparently, they were very healing based. I don't know if you ever heard of this. I'd never heard of it until today.
Yeah, solfege. Solfeggio is solfege. That's the sol la ti re mi do. That's the song.
Oh,
That's the
okay.
song.
I see what you're saying.
Um,
I didn't know.
uh,
I'm not a music guy. You're the music guy, man. So
yeah.
yeah. So, but no, he says something about the Vatican actually changed the lyrics and then changed the frequency and then got rid of 150 chants or something. I heard about this. Where is that at? 152. They're called Lost. Amazing ancient Gregorian chants. The one that's supposed to be the best is Saint John, the hymn of the Saint John the Baptist. That's supposed to have multiple frequencies, and it talks about 396 liberates from guilt and fear, 417 undoing situations. I don't know what this stuff is, but 528 transformation and miracles, DNA repair, they claim. 639 connecting relationships. I don't know if there's
Well,
I don't know
I'm
what
going to
these
tell you.
all are or what they mean, but
Well, let me say this. There is a relationship between, and this is a historical feature, of certain keys being considered dark or somber keys, and certain keys seeming to be more joyful and bright. And you already have minor keys versus major keys. You have supposedly there are keys that elicit certain emotions, and that have certain impact just from a natural perspective. Now, there's arguments all over the place. My tendency is to not put a lot of stock in that, because a lot of that research was conducted back when um, we weren't using a well-tempered tuning system, and so there were a lot of keys that were actually not usable. There were a lot of keys that were not usable and or actually did sound different because the pitches were not the same distance apart. And uh, one of the most important musicians in the history, of Western music, J.S. Bach, he a collection of compositions called the Well Tempered Clavier, and it was all of these compositions he wrote in every key. He wrote them in every key to prove that his tuning system, this well tempered tuning system, was superior because it created a situation where you could play in any key. It was possible to play in any key, and everything was usable and equally usable. So a lot of that sort of colors and sounds specific to certain keys has been sort of diminished. And really what the situation is now is it has to do with the key that a singer can sing in and get to a particular place in their range, and that tends to dictate the key of songs. Also in church, congregational singing, you need men to be able to sing usually an octave lower than the ladies, all of which to be able to sing the melody of the song without going outside of whatever their comfortable range is. And that usually determines what key a song is going to be in. So there's a lot of
I was
other
gonna,
factors that are involved, but it's interesting.
I was going to say
And real
this.
quick, and
These guys
real
played.
quick before we go on, 1 second, I want to acknowledge the super sticker by J Bones for $2. Thank you very much for that. Go ahead.
Now, I was just going to say these guys played the same song in 432 and 440, and you can actually feel a huge difference when you listen to it. Like it really feels.
Yep.
It's like you can tell it's the same song, but it feels way different. Like you get a different feeling. Like you feel like you're more sucked into the 432 than the 440. It feels like you're really getting pulled in. Maybe like it's able to kind of harmonize with your feelings more or something. I don't know what it is.
I think that the studies that they have done prove that there are more. There's the vibrations are more in sync with each other at 432. Now, so here's the thing, because you can get into this like psychological thing, right? So you could be
Right.
thinking, hey,
Yeah.
well, I think 432 is going to make me feel better. And so then you actually are psyching yourself out. And so it's really difficult to, unless you're doing like a double
Placebo
blind and you
factor.
have a bunch of people listening
Right. Yeah.
to the same stuff. I'm not discounting it. I'm just saying there's a lot of other stuff that's also involved.
Well, when you have like them just comparing two, like when I first watched it, I didn't even know which one was supposed to be better. So like
Right.
I was just starting to learn about this, and I'm like, okay, and then when I was listening to it, I felt like the 432 really kind of tugged on your emotions more or something, and it kind of digs. And then the
Mm,
440 is just kind of more light, like it just kind of like it doesn't really get into it. You don't really feel it as much. You know what I mean?
right.
And that was before I knew which one was the better one. I didn't know which one was supposed to be the better one. I just felt like that was what I felt when I experienced it, which is kind of like what you're saying, like double blind, or like you don't know what's going on. You don't understand. You're not like psyching yourself up to think something.
Yeah. Okay.
But
You
is that
sent me
sort
the
of what you
link.
expected to, or what would you expect? Because I mean, I'm kind of wondering about these really higher ones, like the 500s and 600s. I really don't know I don't know if there's anything to what they're saying, or if it's like they're just kind of adding stuff to it, or perhaps there's maybe a little bit to it. I'm thinking, particularly the fact, like you said, harmonics, even in engineering, because I'm an engineer, harmonics is a huge deal, like vibrational harmonics, especially like with cars. If you have a material that has the same harmonics as the engine's vibrations, your car is going to fall apart. So you have to make sure your car doesn't have the same, the material doesn't have the same vibrational natural frequency as the engine's vibrating. So there's like, it's just like when you sing and you can break a glass, it's the same idea as you can break your car too. If your car's got the same vibrational frequency as the natural frequency of the material in it, your car could completely fall apart from vibration and stuff. And so it's just like those opera singers that can break a glass. It's the same idea. They're singing
Right.
they're singing the natural frequency of the glass, and they break it because they get it to
Right.
vibrate, and then it just keeps getting larger and larger until it breaks it.
Now
But
and again, now, so then you can get into a conversation about how much matter is actually involved in producing emotion. So then you can get in that, and that's sort of metaphysical and abstract, but there may actually be something to that, so it's really deep and interesting. You sent me a link. Do you want me to play
yeah, I was
something,
thinking
or?
like you could play the music, but we've already talked about it, so maybe it's not double blind anymore, But
Okay, right,
I
right.
mean, I was just playing at the 6 minute mark. I don't even know where to play it from, but because you don't want to play too much, probably. But I was playing at like 6:05, or maybe it was before that. I think it was when the music was a little bit before that. Yeah,
Let's
probably
see
where it's all
here.
popular.
Okay, we'll try
Yeah,
it here.
probably something like that. Yeah, I had a thought on this actually. Now, because I didn't even listen to that song. I listened to a completely different song when they did it.
Yep.
I feel like it's more like the music's more productive. Like it is actually more effective when it's at 432. Because like the other song, it's like it pulled me in a different direction. It's like like if the song's trying to be happy at 432, it's better, more efficient at it. I don't know if I'm explaining it right, but like if it's trying to do something else, it's more efficient at it. If it's not trying to bring you
Yeah.
into happiness, but into something else. I don't
Yeah,
know.
it's interesting. So one of the issues that you run into is uh and this stuff is on a spectrum, but it is a perfect pitch. Okay, so perfect pitch is when someone without a frame of reference, they don't have a frame of reference and they just know what notes are and they can sing notes and it'll be the actual note that they're aiming for without a frame of reference. They don't need a keyboard, nothing else. They're not memorizing notes, none of that. They just know what the notes are. That's perfect pitch. And the thing is that perfect pitch is calibrated based on what part of the world that you're born in, right? So if you're born in India and there are
Mhm.
more notes in the traditional music, there are more notes in the scale, right? In per octave, then that's going to be how your sense of pitch is calibrated. If you're in Asia and they're more like 442, A 442, that'll be it.
Right.
If you're in the Americas with most of the world's popular music being at 440, then that's going to be your sense of pitch. So you're always going to have an issue where if you try to say, okay, we're going to go 432, the issue is that for many folks it's going to sound out of tune, and so whatever positive result you think you're getting out of it, you're distracting people because it sounds out of tune. So here's
That's
another thing
interesting.
about
So it's kind of like
yeah
because they set it that way, then that's where it is. But if it's almost like you have a momentum to it, is what you're saying.
yeah
Kind of like a momentum.
and here's one
I was
other
going to say
thing.
something else too.
Go
Oh, go
go
ahead.
ahead
I
go
was
ahead.
going to say something else on another topic.
Okay,
It's
well let me
related,
let me
actually. It has to
yeah,
do with
yeah
yeah.
let me wrap this up real quick and then we can change topics.
Okay.
um but the other thing that's interesting, and this is really technical, it has to do with the way that the guitar is designed in this guy's particular guitar. Okay. He has a fixed bridge. Okay. A fixed bridge. And that means that that bridge cannot be moved. In uh it means that there's no intonation adjustment on the bridge. And for the scale length, if he detunes each one of the strings are not going to actually be equally in tune for 432 as they are for 440. That guitar is designed to be in tune for 440, but not designed to be in tune at 432. So no matter what you do, 432 on that guitar is going to sound out of tune. And it sounded out of tune to me. I'm not talking
Oh, that's
about
interesting.
the original.
Yeah, I
I'm
see what
not
you're saying.
talking about the actual. I'm not talking about comparing it to 440 and saying, okay, well, it sounds flat to
No, no,
me.
no, no. I
That's
see what
not
you're
what I'm
saying.
saying.
I see what you're saying. I actually felt
Yeah,
that too a little bit, but I felt like it was still more effective, even though it was a little off, if that makes sense. If
yeah,
But I got something else I want to talk about, and it has to do with wavelengths, but it has something a completely different topic.
sure.
So they have actually weapons in this realm as well. And a lot of people are not aware of this. And they actually can target an area and then cause anger and confusion and rage and stuff, even with this, like vibrations and stuff. A lot of
Mhm.
people are not sure aware of this, but actually, I even knew an engineer that my wife's husband, and he worked in this area of like frequencies and stuff. And like, I'm not going to get into all his work, but they have stuff like this, man. And
Mm,
this actually can cause people to become depressed and stuff like that. Even they have
yep,
actually means of doing that, and they've used it. Uh, they also use it for crowd, of course, control and stuff like that. I'm sure you've heard of that as well. They got stuff like that
right,
also, where they can just drive you nuts and you just can't stand it. It's just so ridiculous. But so
right.
they actually have a lot of this kind of stuff. But what's interesting is like with this TV show Lucifer. Now he's sitting on top of this tower, and is this in a sense saying this is how he's able to control what's going on in society, right? Which is, it's not just music, it's everything. It's social media, it's what you learn, through your phone, or even music as well, obviously, because there's lots of music that's not good. But I mean, is this basically how he is working through the air? Is through frequencies and through waves, And I'm just kind of thinking that's where it is. And actually, I don't want to get into that because that's a different topic. But I feel like that's what a lot of these, like, because you always see, if you look into movies and music videos and stuff, you'll always see kind of them explaining something that you don't notice at first glance. And I feel like what they're doing is they're going to try to take our society towards where essentially we are, merging, as you would say, with AI. And that goes back to the Sam Altman, where he has said some pretty crazy stuff like we were talking about earlier. And we'll get into that, I guess, in a minute. But I think Elon Musk is actually a huge part of it. And before, I used to think that a long time ago as well. But then I felt like I kind of got deceived by his like alleged change. And I feel like there's a group of people that purposely do this. And I can name some names that, it might, some people may not like it, but I think Kanye is one of them. I think Elon Musk is one of them. I think Justin Bieber is one of them, where they pretend to be this one way and then they switch back and forth. And I think they're purposely trying to deceive people that have good intentions and then try to bring you into something that you don't know what it is. And then later they reveal their true self. You know what I mean? So I feel like the Elon Musk is one of them. And I think because he pretended like he was for free, of course, speaking, but now it's become much more obvious that he's not. If you've looked into who he recently hired to work for him, and you know about that, the woman, she's from the World, of course, Economic, Forum, all that kind of stuff. But she's saying you shouldn't have reach and all this kind of stuff. But at any rate, my point is that he's got this Neuralink, and I feel like he's going to try to essentially, in the end, have it to where he tries to get people literally connecting their minds to this stuff. And in that way, there could even be more control if you think about it, because there could be back doors if you have your mind literally circuited up to something. You know what I mean? So that's just kind of my thought.
Yeah, folks, like the video. 67 people watching, 49 likes. Let's get the video, get the likes up. All right, we're sort of segueing. Well, we're going to talk some more about so here's some eyeball scanning stuff. Here we go.
People are scanning their eyes in exchange for free money. 2.1 million of them. But here's what's crazy. There are massive lines all around the world waiting for their turn. This is Worldcoin, the wildest social human money experiment ever created. Worldcoin started with a simple vision. What if there was one global financial network owned by everybody on Earth? Unhackable, no corruption, sounds pretty great. But here's where it gets a little dicey for me. In order to make that kind of system, every person needs one unique ID. Think of it like a login that can't be stolen or hacked. And the team decided the best way to do this was to scan your iris, the colored part of your eye. Because other options like Face ID, palm scan, or even email could be hacked or manipulated by AI. So you look into this silver orb and it verifies that you're uniquely you and a human. They call it proof of personhood. In exchange, you're officially verified on the network, and they give you some tokens, currently worth about $50. Call it a sign-up bonus. Now the idea is, if they're able to grow this network with enough proven humans, businesses will start to build for it. Like we take MasterCard, Visa, Apple Pay, eyes. In the best case, it could become the new financial rails, like what crypto originally promised, but without the scams. But here's the craziest part where it starts to get a little spooky for me. The co-founder of Worldcoin is Sam Altman. And you might know that name. He's also the co-founder of OpenAI, which made ChatGPT and basically kickstarted this whole AI revolution. He said this: in the future, when AI is super powerful, we're gonna need this.
Okay.
So
I forgot to mention also.
The idea is if this technology actually allows it can tell the difference between a human and AI, or a human and a robot, right? Then that would be useful, because you may need to be able to. You may want the machine to be able to discern the difference, so it knows who to take the instructions from, because it might get smart. The AI might get smart and think that Skynet, they might think that humans are the problem with the Earth and all of that kind of stuff, and nukes and all of that.
You know what? That's kind of interesting, because I'm pretty sure a lot of the people at the top think that we're the problem, because they tell us that CO2 is a bad emission and we breathe out CO2, all these type of things. they clearly look at us like we're the problem, and they're the ones programming AI. So, you know what I mean? And another thing is Elon Musk actually said he's going to turn his X into an overall everything system, which is kind of what he's talking about. Like he wants, like the Sam Altman, he wants to have it to where it's like sort of like a way to authenticate that you're human. Why would you need to do that unless there's going to be some AI problem, which of course he's creating? And then he talks about how he thinks it's going to be the end of the world potentially, right? So it's just kind of hilarious that this guy's the one making it, and it makes you really wonder. It makes me really wonder, because I wonder if Elon Musk is also thinking the same thing, like he's trying to go the same direction. Because I'm wondering if Elon Musk is going to do pretty much the same thing, like he's going to try to take this Sam Altman on in the same manner. And so honestly, this doesn't sound like a good thing for anybody to me. Neither go in this direction.
Doesn't seem that great. Here let's
Sounds really
take a look at another. Here's some more
okay.
musings rather of Altman. So let's listen to what he has to say.
What do you think are going to be the characteristics of the application level companies for AI that are going to work? Like, what are the common threads that people should be looking at or looking for?
I mean, I think we can say all of the sort of trite things at this point. Like, I do believe that natural language is this new interface. That's real, and that's going to happen. And you know, we will control lots of things, not everything, because sometimes a GUI is better, but we will control lots of things by like telling a computer what we want. And like this fact that we can generate any content that we want, I think is going to like lead to a predictable but still huge set of things where, you know, maybe now we get to generate images, but soon we'll like generate full video games or full movies or, you know, never ending Spotify playlists or whatever. So we could talk about like the obvious things like that. And there's like another category of automated knowledge work that I think we could also talk about is fairly obvious. So we'll have AI lawyers, AI medical advisors, AI tutors. Like each of those verticals, I think will just get picked off. And then of course, like to me, the most interesting one, but by definition, the hard to predict one is the hard to predict stuff, where we'll just see these like very different things that happen when intelligence, when first of all, it's like an alien intelligence. So it's hard for us to even sit here now and say what it's going to be good and bad at. But also an alien intelligence that can run at like just this unbelievable speed and unbelievable cost effectiveness.
Does he keep talking for long? Oh, he's almost done. Because I wanted to mention a couple things already. He says alien intelligence. I've seen this with a lot of these AI developers. What alien are we talking about? Obviously, it's programmed by humans. It's made to appear to be sentient. Are they saying there's input other than humans going into this AI? Because the AI is not sentient, but they're pretending like it is. Could it be demonic information going into it? You see what I'm getting at? So it's used in that respect. He also mentioned about interfacing with, he's pretty much saying Neuralink. In the beginning, he was pretty much saying Neuralink, because what he's talking about is what this lady from DARPA said. You know that organization, DARPA. She actually, I forgot her name, but she actually said that we can't communicate fast enough, so we need to interface our mind into the internet. And then this is what Elon Musk is all about with the Neuralink, is because we need to compete with AI. So in other words, our brains are going to be connected to AI and to this internet, and then we'll be able to do things much quicker than like typing on a computer. But the problem is this AI is going to be very, very intelligent. So what they're going to do is they're going to make this AI so powerful that it will basically box you in so you can't do stuff. So it's going to be a trap. I see it as a trap, because you might be able to communicate faster, but this AI is so intelligent, it's going to box you in so you can't be able to do anything. And those they don't like particularly. And then this is how I see it.
And the thing is that it would do it in a way that you wouldn't know that you're being boxed in. You'd think that you actually still have access to everything, but it's creating an environment.
Because it convinced you. It convinced you, maybe even because it's smarter than you, leading you around.
Look,
I see it as very dangerous. I see this as bad. And he even says it's dangerous. He says it's bad. And he's still
check it out. I'll
doing
play
it.
the rest of
This
this.
is what I
I'll play the
like.
rest of this, and
Yeah,
then
go ahead.
I've got another one where he basically says it could be really terrible and bad, and he's not giving any assurances that it's going to be good. And it's like, dude, why are we letting this dude do this?
Exactly.
Yes, we hope cost effective.
Yeah, no kidding, dude.
The sad version of the world is where it turns out there's just like a market price for intelligence that society is willing to pay. And so GPUs go up in price by like a factor of 100, and so does energy, and we don't get the happy version of the revolution. But assuming we can avoid that, which I think we can, then this world where like intelligence is super fast, super cheap, and super alien, I'm excited to see.
All right, now check this out. He's in this. Now, is that the right one? No, this isn't the right one. He's in the. Maybe it's this one. What's that? Yeah. Well, it might be this. I'm not sure. I have a couple of these here. Let's play this one.
I think it's interesting that if you asked people 10 years ago about how AI was going to have an impact, with a lot of confidence from almost most people, you would have heard, first it's going to come for the blue-collar jobs, working in the factories, truck drivers, whatever. Then it will come for the kind of like the low-skill white-collar jobs. Then the very high-skill, like really high IQ white-collar jobs like a programmer or whatever, and then very last of all, and maybe never, it's going to take the creative jobs. And it's really gone and is going exactly the other direction. And I think this, there's an interesting reminder in here, generally about how hard predictions are, but more specifically about, we're not always very aware, maybe even ourselves, of like what skills are hard and easy, like what uses most of our brain and what doesn't, or how like difficult bodies are to control or make or whatever.
Yeah. So, and that's actually an interesting point he's making there, because you would have assumed that this sort of blue collar stuff, that would have been the easy stuff to replace. But actually, it turns out that's actually the stuff that's the hardest to replace. That's the stuff that actually requires a lot more. There's a lot more variables.
Interaction.
Yeah, there's a lot more. There's a lot more variables involved.
Well, this is what I was trying to get at. I feel like this is a trap, and I don't even think they fully understand what they're doing. That's why he even admits it. I think Elon Musk is a little bit more, or maybe, I don't know if he's more observant or aware, or perhaps I don't know what it is, but he says there's danger in it. I think there's a ton more dangers than a lot of people realize, because I think they want to connect our minds to it and to communicate faster through the internet. And then what's going to happen is this AI is going to be so powerful, it's going to either brainwash us, lead us astray, or box us in somehow, is the way I look at it. And whoever owns or controls the AI is the one that's going to be basically turning us into puppets. It's the way I look at it, kind of. And in those that don't turn into puppets, they're going to be something else that's going to happen. Yeah. This is my thoughts, because most people at the top are not exactly thinking about you and I. I personally don't think so. When they're trying to dim the sun, that doesn't sound like they're really interested in helping out the planet. You know what I mean? Like, are they really trying to save the animals when they're trying to dim the sun? Does that even make any sense? It's like ridiculous. But so a lot of the stuff they do doesn't make any sense. And, they say that they're trying to help us. They're trying to be philanthropists and stuff like that, but I don't really believe it. So I honestly don't think this AI is going to be good in the end either. I think it's really going to be bad. I don't see any, honestly, the more I think about it, the less I think it's going to be good at all. I think it's going to be very bad, because I think they're going to use it in a way to where they can even get more control. This is pretty much what I'm thinking, but they're going to sell it to us like it's going to help us. Oh, it's going to make it easier. Lots easier. You can write a book now, whatever,
81 people in here, only 59 likes. Please like the video. If you're not going to donate, please like the video.
This orb harvests your eye data for crypto. It's called Worldcoin, which aims to scan 1 billion eyes to create a global identity and payment network. And it's co-founded by AI king Sam Altman. No, it's not a joke. The project has already raised $150 million and has over 1 million users. Worldcoin operators are out there scanning eyes and earning crypto. Your unique iris verifies your personhood, which helps differentiate humans from AI. And it all happens from this orb device, which is surprisingly transparent with its hardware design and open source code. Biggest issue though is that People are resistant to look into the orb. You must look into the orb. The orb is your friend. Trust the upcoming One World government. They will use ZK to prove your identity without revealing your secret information. Trust in the Ponzinomics and earn some crypto, and ignore the markets emerging in China harvesting iris data. Seriously, this is such a bizarre project, it might just become the biggest meme and pump. I'm honestly interested in its launch.
That's funny, dude. Yeah, China's been trying to get data on Americans and Europeans for a long time. They want to get DNA. You know why they want to get DNA? They can do a lot of stuff when you have DNA. And that's another question. What can they do when they have this information about your iris? I don't know. But I don't think people realize all the directions this could go that you don't think of. Right? That's
Okay,
the thing.
so this is the one. This is the one I was talking about. This is the one. It's in a Senate hearing, and just listen to how like vague and kind of nonchalant the guy is about saying that, oh, it's going to be, we want to prevent it from being really bad, and it could be really bad and stuff like this. I'm like, dude, why are we listening to you? I need the guy that says there's zero chance that this is going to do anything bad and it's only going to do good. So I don't want the guy saying, hey, well, it's kind of a 50-50 thing, but
Bro, it's 2023, man. Come on. At this point, they just tell us what's going to happen and it's bad, and then we just go for it anyways. It's like a dumpster fire at this point. We're in a dumpster fire at this point, folks, so.
We have tried to be very clear about the magnitude of the risks here. I think jobs and employment and what we're all going to do with our time really matters. I agree that when we get to very powerful systems, the landscape will change. I think I'm just more optimistic that we are incredibly creative and we find new things to do with better tools, and that will keep happening. My worst fears are that we, the field, the technology, the industry, cause significant harm to the world. I think that could happen in a lot of different ways. It's why we started the company.
That's why we started the company.
Why we've been here in the past and we've been able to spend some time with you. I think if this technology goes wrong, it can go quite wrong. And we want to be vocal about that. We want to work with the government to prevent that from happening. But we try to be very clear-eyed about what the downside case is and the work that we have to do to mitigate that.
Thank you.
What was that famous quote? There's a famous quote from a president said, was it a president? The worst words you can hear are, I'm the government, I'm here to help, or something like that. I mean, why would you trust them on top of it, No, I mean, look at that, dude. That's like crazy. Didn't he say that we started our company because we wanted to cause harm? Isn't that what he just said?
Yeah, well, I think part of that was an unfortunate way that he phrased it, but he was basically trying to say part of the reason that he created his company, he wants to try to be part of what mitigates the risk. But in an attempt to do that, the problem is that, bad stuff can happen.
Oh my goodness. So he's like, it's like we're already going to hell, but we might as well try to go that way because we're already going that way, but we'll try to stop it from happening. Like, it's basically what he's saying.
Pretty much. So
I'm not confident after hearing that at all. I'm really unconfident. Yeah.
No.
That's why I kind of like looking at analyzing this guy, because it's like he just says stuff that's like, is anybody listening to what he actually says? Is anybody actually listening?
Okay,
oh my goodness.
I've got a couple things. I've got a couple things that are totally not related. These are sort of bonus things. But before I do them, do you have anything else on the topics?
What was I gonna say? I don't know. I think we pretty much covered it. I mean, I just like some of his quotes because they just seem so ridiculous. And the fact that if this guy came out in like 2015, people would be like, what, are you crazy? Of course let's not do this. But today it's like, because everybody's like, the world's half crazy. It's like, what do you expect? This is normal now, right? Like, it's normal. Like, hey, we're designing something that could destroy the world, but we're going to try not to, and we'll make a lot of money while we're doing it. And everybody's like, yeah, great idea. Oh, let's go. I mean, come on, man. What in the world is going on here, dude? Like, we're living literally this is worse than the Twilight Zone. This is worse than the Twilight Zone. I'd rather be in the Twilight Zone, actually. I think I'd do better. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, this is the willingness to take these wild risks like this seems to be really crazy. It seems really crazy to me. Okay, so
Terminator 2, man. Terminator 2. Arnold Schwarzenegger.
all right, so check this out. Oh, wait a minute. I got to do this. I get rid of that one. Okay, so
And we were talking, by the way, about this X across America. We're just kind of going on into other stuff here, folks. But if you watched the beginning of our live stream, we talked all about that stuff. Just wanted to put that out there.
Yeah, check it out. There's a reason for God's laws. Okay? And I'm going to play something for you. I have 2 videos that are going to underline and point out why you should follow God's laws. There's certain rules about, for instance, incest that you should pay attention to and not violate. So let's watch this. This is from a Joe Rogan interview.
That was the craziest shit. Yeah.
But I'm like, my brain's already broke, man. I don't understand that one.
Okay, I'll play it one more time. I'll play it one more time. The moral of the story, the simple version of this, is that there was significant inbreeding, like ridiculous amount of inbreeding. And look at the pictures, how similar everybody looks. Okay.
That was the craziest shit. On both the mother and the father side, we're twins, identical twins. Oof. So it's like the same person birthed the mom and dad, and then the parents were cousins on top of it. Oh, yeah.
That's like dope. That's like trying to make it as bad as possible, or something. I don't.
Pretty much.
That's like the worst type of like incest generational thing I've ever heard of.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we're talking about every topic in the world here. Apparently, we're talking about that even. Okay.
All right, and then here's another one, and this is just bonus. This last 2 things, this is bonus. Actually, we pretty much stayed on the main topics. We got off on some music stuff, but it was still related to one of the other topics, right? That was a tangent. These 2 things that we're showing right now, this is totally nothing related to the topic. But here's another one right here, and there is a woman named why can't I think of her name right now?
Singer? What?
I can't. Ebony K. Williams. Ebony K. Williams. Okay. And she is the host of a show on the Griot. Okay. And she is promoting something called Single Mothers by Choice. Single Mothers by Choice. Now, Single Mothers by Choice. I'll just let her say what it is. Here we go.
Listen, I know that many are going to question or even indict the decision that I and many other Black women are making to become single mothers by choice. As Black women that have the privilege to embark upon this expensive and oftentimes lengthy process will increasingly decide to forego marriages and partnerships that do not serve us and that are not in our best interests. And now that bypassing those insufficient relationships does not have to come at the expense of motherhood, well, frankly, it's a whole new world. A world in which Black women are no longer subject to the desperation of being chose, because now we get to do the choosing. We do have to contend with the reality of a dismally small supply of Black sperm. Because most Black women on this journey, we want to create children that look like us and that look like our families. And that means we want Black sperm. So I've got 2 concrete tips for single Black women who think this may be an option, either now or maybe later. Number one, please check out Reproductive Village. It's a new Black-owned cryobank, and it's designed to help with this shortage of Black sperm. It's set to open its doors in D.C. later this year, and it will also have drop-off locations in Atlanta and Houston, Texas. And if you see some sperm that you like, I suggest go ahead and buying at least 2 vials right now. Even if you do not intend to use them anytime soon, trust me, it's better to have them than to be without them when the time comes. And listen, if you never need them for whatever reason, what a wonderful gift to give to a friend or a sorority sister in need. And also, most of those banks, they allow you to resell the sperm back to the bank itself. I have, and many Black women have, too much love, too many resources, and too rich of a community not to share these gifts with children of our own. Children that will one day, no doubt, enrich and contribute to the next generation of Black America.
What in the world, dude? That was like bizarro world there.
Yeah, 100%. This is a real thing.
Yeah, she should go to that last video and meet up with that family there. They can just like,
no.
She can get some good stuff going on there. Family relations.
Goodness gracious.
Oh god.
But
yeah, that sounded really weird. That was really weird, dude.
Well, it's really terrible. But this is how bad. See, things are devolving at a record pace, and stuff is unraveling, and it's like the spirit of God is leaving the planet.
Well, it said cryo. Like, is this like from dudes? I'm assuming dudes just like sell it there. That's my
a cryo bank is
right?
it's a bank. It's basically a sperm bank. Okay. And so
right, okay, but it's guys donating to it though. There's dudes that donate to it. I'm assuming.
Right, people donate or are paid to donate, or they're paid for a specimen. And there's a shortage. Okay. There's a shortage of Black sperm in these banks, but there seems to be an abundance and an ever growing number of women. Of Black women professionals that have prioritized their career over family creation. So then by the time they get to the place where like, okay, I'm ready to have a family, since they didn't prioritize that, there's nobody to be found. There's not the kind of men that they would want to be found. And so rather than collaborating with a man, they decide to basically go it alone. Single mothers by choice. They decide.
I don't feel like they're in a situation. They're not in a situation that's normal. Like, I don't think it's normal. I don't think it's going to be something that's going to stay for a long period of time. I don't think like 100 years from now they're going to have like the same situation the entire 100 years, like where women can just do whatever they want and do all this. I don't think that's going to happen because it's like a pendulum swinging. It swung way up here in this weird place. It's not going to stay there because I don't think it can stay there. It doesn't make sense, because they're actually taking advantage. They're taking advantage of men and don't realize it. I feel like pretty much in that respect. Because I mean, I think even their position, in a sense, in some respects, their ability to even get into that position like they are, where like everything's whatever they want, and use men like they're a little bank of little things floating around, swimming.
but think about this: if you want to talk about objectifying, because there's a lot of complaints about men objectifying women. This is like the worst. Yeah, this is like the worst way to objectify someone. All I want is your genetic material.
Yeah, that's like I mean, yeah, dude. I don't even know. I think Tate's even a little bit better than that, isn't he? Even Tate's better than that, dude. Come on, give me a break. Yeah, I'm not a hugest fan of Tate, but I think he's better than that for sure. Oh my goodness, that was ridiculous.
Yeah. Ugh. All right. Well, I think that's our show for today. Thanks everybody. We just had a couple bonus things at the very end. The video really was about strange signs crossing over America, and we also spent some time, talking about AI and this eye scanning and There's some weird stuff going on. But great show.
Yeah.
Had a good audience today. Thanks everybody for being supportive, for being here. Like, share, comment, subscribe, become a channel member where you'll get access to all archive videos. Support independent media. Super chats enabled. Super thanks for the replay gang. Cash App, Venmo, PayPal, Dr. Thunder Music, all one word. Spell out the word doctor. And if you'd like to buy me a sandwich, then go ahead and shoot me a Cash App. Hashtag Sandwich Gang. If you didn't know it, sandwich is spelled with 2 M's. And thank you very much for all the likes. And yes, also for the 1 thumbs down.
Oh, thumbs down. Good.
That's right. Like
those count, by the way. Those count. Those count for a quarter of a thumbs up. The count of a quarter of a thumbs up. So
that's right. Say, hey, thank you for that quarter of a thumbs up. 73 and 1/4 of a thumbs up on today's show. And we'll see you next time. Peace out.
All right.
Bye.